SABC News correspondent Dasha Chernyshova joins us live from Moscow with the latest update following the attack that claimed over 100 people on Friday. ISIS has since claimed responsibility for that attack. Dasha, good afternoon, and thank you for joining us on the SABC at this hour. Perhaps from your vantage point, you could talk to the latest following the attack, activities of wreath laying at the concert venue site, confirmed death toll and injuries as we speak.
Well, indeed, we understand that the death toll at the moment stands at 137. The authorities have not updated this number in a while now, but the search operation is ongoing as the Russian investigators and rescuers are clearing more rubble, so more bodies could be found under that rubble. We also hearing from the authorities that the clearing process is helping the investigators to establish all the circumstances in which the attack took place. But in the meantime, the Kremlin has refused to comment on the ongoing investigation. Kremlin spokesman on Monday said that in order to help the investigation, the Kremlin will not be speaking publicly about that. The investigation is ongoing. The 4 men who have been directly involved in this attack and participated in the shooting have been charged with terrorism. At least 2 of them have pleaded guilty, and they are now in pre-trial detention until the 22nd of May. This is when the trial is expected to take place. All 4 are said to be the nationals of Tajikistan, aged 19 to 32. Some of them have children, and obviously the authorities are now to find who stands behind these people.
Dasha, thank you for that. As investigations are ongoing, which you've alluded to, there have been claims regarding ISIS claiming responsibility for the attack, Russia rejecting the US's confirmation. Talk to us a little bit more about the dynamics unfolding on that front, particularly the timing of it, given Putin's re-election.
Well, certainly with regards to the involvement of the Islamic State band in Russia into this attack, we are yet to hear from the Russian authorities. So far, we've heard only the possibility of the Ukrainian trace, with the only evidence suggesting that being the fact that the car allegedly was moving in the direction of Ukraine, trying to cross the border with Russia and Ukraine in the Bryansk region. But nothing has been spoken with regards to the ISIS on the Russian side. However, at the same time, the Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov also said that in the aftermath of this attack, the Russian president was contacted by numerous international leaders, and they have all been talking about strengthening cooperation when it comes to the fight against international terrorism, saying that no country is actually immune from the threats of terrorism, and also noting the very fact that Russia is not cooperating with any Western country when it comes to this investigation. So we understand that even though the US flagged the possibility of a terror attack in the Russian capital, the Russian investigators and the Russian intelligence are now working on their own.
Dasha, Russia's President Vladimir Putin said that the main suspects were arrested, planned to flee into the Ukraine denying any connection. So at this point, will this be used by President Putin to intensify efforts in the Ukraine? And if we're going to shine a spotlight on Putin's intelligentsia, the image of the Kremlin at large, what's reflected on that front in that twofold question?
Well, at the moment, we are not seeing any more rhetoric suggesting that Ukraine could be behind. At the same time, we are hearing more of the conversation on the part of the Russian lawmakers saying that the migrant legislation has to be tightened because they say migrants are often used as the prime target for the Western and foreign intelligence in Russia. So during the course of the special military operation in Ukraine, they say the inflow of migrants has to be limited to the number that could be easily controlled. This is one part of the debate we're hearing here. Another side of the debate is the possibility of lifting the moratorium on the death penalty, which has been in place since 1996. The Kremlin, however, said that it is not involved into this discussion at this point yet. So obviously a lot of debate is now ongoing with regards to this act of terrorism. But on the minds of Russians, it is not just to blame someone, but actually to mourn over the victims or that have whose lives have been claimed, but also to establish why the authorities have allowed that to happen, given again the idea and the fact that the US was warning Russia about that. So certainly there are many questions with regards to how these the Crocus City Hall has been protected, whether the security named as controllers by the owner of the Crocus City Hall were not armed, why they were not armed, and the current regulations that are outlining the procedures for the security at these kinds of venues as well as events. They all have to be revised in light of these attacks. So at the moment, this is what the public discussion is focusing on.
Dasha, let's leave it there, and thank you for that update at this hour. Dasha Chernyshova, live from Moscow, just giving us the latest update following the attack that claimed over 100 people on Friday.